Alright, everyone, kind of like what the title says, we're going to go 4570 government versus the 458 Socom. And we're going to start off, we're just going to look at Nosler's load data. Nosler has a 300 grain for each one of these cartridges, bullets, and a ballistic silver tip. And so that's what we're going to compare them off of. Each of these cartridges will shoot basically a 250 grain all the way up to a 600 grain bullet. We're not going to cover that. We're just going to basically cover the 300 grain bullet, which is going to be the most common for most shooters and most users and applications. So, as you can see, 4570 government here, 300 grain bullet, and we got a couple powders. We're going to kind of vary with this grain bullet, basically from 1800 feet per second all the way up to 2200 feet per second. You know, you can probably get a little faster than that, but then you're pushing it. And this isn't a lever gun. This is a great, really 200 to 300 yard max kind of cartridge, really for deer or elk or something like that, or just defense. Because I mean, this is a great buffalo round, but it's also great for defense round. I mean, it's not a lever gun, so the most tactical, but you can definitely use it that way if you wanted to. As you can see, there's a couple different powder ranges. Nosler seemed to have the best luck with the AA 2015. And so that's, that's max velocity. They're saying around 2130. That's pretty good. One of these cases measures to 2.105. So it's a nice long case, max overall length case of 2.550. So it's a decent long case meant for the lever gun. The Nosler brass case hold of water grains is 64.6. And then the barrel that this was tested out of was a 24-inch barrel, which is a lot more than what an AR barrel is going to be, usually a 16 to an 18. So you're going to suffer just a little velocity just right there with a shorter barrel. This bullet itself has a sexual density of 0.204 and a BC of 0.191. So you're not going to be shooting this thing long range, not what it's designed for, but it is a very cool round. Let's get into talking about the 458 Socom now. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the 458 Socom. Nosler has two different 300 grain bullets listed here, but we're mainly going to talk about the ballistic silver tip. Although the ballistic tip does have a better BC of 0.250, which this bullet very well could be used in the 4570. There's a lot of bullets, a lot of options for both these calibers. So either one of these bullets technically could be used in that. Here they have quite a bit more powders listed for variability. But you can see, kind of where you're going to be maxing your velocity at is with Reloader 7, right around 1950 for velocity. And you're cramming that cartridge with 116% case capacity or low density volume. So I'm not quite sure how you're going to get that much powder in there, but I guess they've done it. So I'd probably be more likely to use something like Benchmark or IMR 4227. It's probably along those lines. It's probably where I would probably lean towards. For the case, for Starline Brass, case holds 42.2 grains of water with, like I said, practical barrel length for the 458 Socom is a 16-inch barrel with a 114 twist. That is what I have myself. So, like I say, you're going to see probably 250 feet per second difference in velocity in these two cartridges. This 458 Socom is meant to be a knockdown power at close range, designed for that, to go on the AR platform and just be devastating up close, which it will be. So let's talk about a little bit of the trajectory here in the next slide. All right, so now let's talk about the 4570 trajectory with this bullet and going roughly around 2200 in velocity. You can see if we got the gun zeroed at 50 yards, it's pretty much no drop at 75 yards. It's 0.06. Even at 100 yards, 0.71. 125, 2 inches, and then you're starting to see at 150 yards, 4 inches, and then, at 200 yards, it drops off to 200. So really, it's doing pretty well. 250 yards, 21 inches. So you're kind of like getting to right where, you don't really want to be too much further than that. especially without dialing, or really knowing your rifle very well. But not only that, your wind drift at 175 or 200 yards is 11 inches. That's pretty big with a 10-mile-an-hour wind. That's quite a bit. So you want to be pretty careful. You probably want to keep this cartridge right around, the 150 yards. Your wind drift is going to be right around 6 inches with a 10-mile-an-hour wind. So time of flight on 100 yards is going to be 0.11, and then 200 yards you're looking at 0.34. So I mean your time of flight's still pretty decent. Your energy. Oh, I can't speak all of a sudden. At 100 yards, it makes up a big difference, and so also at 200 yards, it's still putting out pretty good energy. So at 100 yards, you're hitting right around 1800 in velocity, and for energy, right around 2100. So at 200 yards, you're right around 1421 in energy, and in velocity, 1461, right around there. So not too bad, still not too bad. Where it's going to where you're really going to start seeing that is past 200 yards as everything starts dropping off. It's really what I think this cartridge is kind of limited at, for at least hunting wise. But that's me. I wouldn't push it past that. And that's in a lever gun. The 458 Socom, that's probably going to be more like 100 yards. But that's more of like a defense weapon, in my opinion. And we're going to kind of get into that here now. All right, so now for the 458 Socom, 0 to 50 yards again, like the 4570 was. You're really at 75 yards, there's no difference. In 100 yards, you got a basically a 1.5 inch drop. At 125 yards, 3 and a little almost 3.5. 150 yards, you're looking at 6. 200 yards, you're looking at 15. So at 225, 22. But once again, this is really kind of, I'd probably say you max for your hunting for this cartridge would be 150 yards. I mean, your windage is going to be basically kind of the same as the 4570. Time of flight is a little slower. Your energy, though, so at 50 yards, your energy is 1998 with a velocity of 1732. That's really good. At 100 yards, looking at like 1619 with a velocity of 1559. Still plenty of energy, still plenty of velocity. If you come down to 200 yards, right, your energy is right above 1,000, and your velocity is at 1267. So you're kind of pushing it. You're obviously going to hurt something, but if you have to use this for self-defense weapon, you're not shooting at 200 yards. You're going to probably have a different application for that. But this in an AR platform, close range, is really good. Like you can see at 25 yards, your energy is 2216, but velocity is still 1824. And just that sheer density of that bullet is going to knock somebody down. And it's going to hurt. It's really going to hurt. It's going to leave a thumping on them. But like I said, this was not designed to be a hunting cartridge. This one was designed to be out of the AR-15, and just push that 300 grain bullet, and with some serious knockdown power. At the muzzle, you're getting almost 2,500 feet per second. Or you're right around 2456. So if you're shooting someone 7 yards away and you're home, that's really gonna hurt. You're matching almost 30-06 velocity. Energy with like 180 grain bullet. That's really good. And there's a lot of variety with this cartridge too. Like I said, you can go like a 250 grain bullet up to a 600 grain bullet and load it in subsonic and stuff like that. That being said, they're really good cartridges. If you want to compare them for hunting, 4570 wins all day, right? So you're getting more velocity. You're going to be able to reach out a little further. It's a longer barrel, so it's just going to be better. But now if you want a gun for tactical or home defense use, let's say with 100 yards, your AR-15 and a 458 Socom is going to be the way to go. You suppress that baby, it's going to be fun to shoot. But then again, lever action guns are fun to shoot too. So let me know what you guys think about this. This was just a very kind of spur of the moment, interesting how I think these two would stack up against each other. They're very similar, but very not similar in the same way, as one is more aimed towards a brush gun shooting, a deer 200 yards, where the SOCOM is made for more of, just like your urban warfare, going door to door and clearing buildings. Even though like in an AR platform, you're only getting 10 rounds out of there. Man, you make those 10 rounds count, they're really going to hurt. So, all right, guys, let me know what you thought of this video. Make sure you like, subscribe. I'll catch you later. Thanks.